Welcome to Picture Healer channel. Today I'm going to talk about Feng Shui for the kitchen. And the three major items in the kitchen, that's a refrigerator, stove, and the sink. And there are certain Feng Shui rules for placement of these three items to increase financial luck and good health. Kitchen is related to financial luck and abundance in traditional Feng Shui. And the food can usually reflect your social status in the old days. And kitchen is also related to the health, especially the female owner of the house. And here are some basic Feng Shui rules for stove, sink, and refrigerator in the kitchen. The first rule is to avoid seeing the stove, sink, or refrigerator from the main entrance. And that means the main entrance of the house and not the entrance of the kitchen. Because we don't want any strangers or visitors to open your front door and see what you have in the kitchen, what you are cooking, or the storage of your food. We want to have more privacy. If anybody can see through your kitchen easily, that's a symbol of difficult to keep your money or difficult to save money. So it's best to arrange your kitchen so you don't have the direct view from the main entrance. And some solution include some barrier between the kitchen and the entrance door. You can add some type of curtain, a screen, some cabinet, or plants, depends on your space and layout. So it can block the view from the main entrance area. The second rule is try to avoid facing each other. For example, the stove and the sink should not be directly facing each other because one is a fire element and the sink is a water element. So there's a water-fire conflict. And that can bring health problems or some type of quarrel or conflict. And according to the 5-element cycle, one way is to add some wood element so it can balance the fire and the water. So you can use a color green, maybe add a green carpet, area rock around that area, or add a plant around the area. And the second one is a stove and fridge. The fridge can be considered metal or water. When the stove aligns with fridge directly, it's not as bad as a stove and a sink, but it's still not ideal. And we can add earth element or wood element to balance the energy. So you can use color yellow or brown or some type of earthware or ceramics. And you can also use plant or anything green. The third rule is to avoid the kitchen facing a restroom. And it can be generally the whole kitchen should not be facing a restroom directly. And if you look at individually the three treasures, we don't want the stove, sink, or refrigerator facing a restroom door, especially facing a toilet. And the obvious reason is that it's affecting your health because the energy from the restroom is usually not very pleasant. And this can also cause fighting or legal issues in Feng Shui. So if you have some ongoing legal issues and your restroom is facing a kitchen or facing a stove, you might want to consider changing the layout or adding some type of curtain or some barrier in between so it's not directly facing the kitchen. If your kitchen is facing a restroom, one way is to add a salt lamp because the salt has the power of purifying the air, and the lighting can brighten the space. So the salt lamp is a lucky choice for the kitchen. The fourth consideration is the open kitchen versus closed kitchen layout. In the old days, the kitchen is usually a totally separate area or at least an enclosed area. But in the modern days, almost every house has an open kitchen. According to the traditional feng shui, the enclosed kitchen is actually better. It's the same idea that we don't want people to see your kitchen from the main entrance. You have more privacy. All your food and the storage items can be more hidden away. And in feng shui, that means you can save more money. You will not waste money easily. If you do have an open kitchen layout, when your kitchen, dining room, and living room are all in one space, it's still better to have your stove and refrigerator and even the sink more hidden away so you don't see it from the living room. And there are many ways to do that, depends on your layout. Again, you can add some type of curtain or use a bigger plant or some type of furniture to block the view, or adding a door or a half wall. The rule number 5 is about the location of the stove. The facing direction of the stove means the stove knob that's pointing at the lucky direction. In the Bazai Feng Shui, we have 4 lucky directions and 4 unlucky directions based on your life gua number. And it's considered lucky for the stove to be located in one of the 4 unlucky directions, but facing a lucky direction. And one of the best direction for the stove to be facing is a heavenly doctor direction. So for example, like this chart, if your life gua is number 8, your stove can be in the life ending direction and facing the heavenly doctor direction. That will bring you good luck according to the 8 mentions feng shui. Because our kitchen is usually very clean and modern, not like in the old days when it's more like a fireplace, because you probably have to cook with a lot of wood and you will produce a lot of smoke. So we want to place them in an unlucky area. But in the modern days, it's not really a big deal. But in general, the stove should be facing a lucky direction, no matter which school of feng shui you follow. The number 6 rule is about the direction of the faucet, because the water represents money. So we want the money to flow into the house and not flowing out of the house. So we don't want the faucet to facing a window or the front or back door. So we can keep the water or money in our house. And this is usually easy to change. You just have to turn the faucet to a different direction so the water doesn't flow out of the window. And the last tip is to keep the kitchen area clean and organized. Keep it bright with fresh air. That means you keep the windows open sometimes and let the fresh air in and let the sunlight shine in, because the kitchen can usually become a dumping ground for everything, maybe junk mail or junk items that we don't know where to store. There's a tendency that things accumulate there. So we do have to take time and effort to put away everything and keep the kitchen clean. So that's the basic feng shui rules about the 3 treasures in the kitchen. If you can follow these simple rules, you increase the chance of good fortune and good health. Thank you so much for watching and talk to you next time.